Well, good morning, good morning, good morning for a second time. And I'm not sure what's happening here, but something is a little different in my setup at the moment. Um, let's see if that works. I doubt it. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? So, I'm Ross Boundy, Psychic Medium, bringing you for the second time this morning in an effort to get it to all the channels that it usually goes to, which it hasn't done, but will continue onwards this time. Did I say I'm Ross Boundy, Psychic Medium? I did, didn't I? It has confused my brain trying to work it out. We're here for the card reading, so let's go across to them. Connecting with your spirit realm and that inner self to peace and calm as we go across. Let's have a look at the cards. So what we've got, and I've just got to move something there. Here we have it, the three cards that we are dealing with today out of the Gilded Reverie Lenormand deck that's created by Ciro Marchetti. I'm using the expanded edition because there is the two different types. The cards we have today are the Fox, the Moon, and the Rider. And here we have our delightful little owl card, which I really do like sharing as well. Every day is a new life to a wise person. So live it well. I think the owls are gorgeous. Now, I will leave that over to the side because we don't need to refer to it directly. And zooming in and getting those cards where we can see them in good size. Here we go. I'm just popping across to see if the Instagram is going well. Yes. And with the moon in that space that is the central, where I'm reading that as the energy is the main theme for the day. So we're bringing in that is the softer energies of that balance of masculine, feminine. The moon does move through the cycles as we know that women do with menstrual cycles and things like that are the endocrine system, the hormones and everything. But it's also what affects our complete earth as far as the tides and the waters and all things like that as well. And I know, why it came into my mind, that term lunatics comes from the lunar, and it was related to those times where it was likely to be the time of the month. The full moon was when there was werewolves coming out, but the craziness of the mind started to show itself, apparently. Regardless of that, what it is part of the cycle of life, and what we've got is that mechanism that really brings it to the fore. It's all of the physical laws of what is our physical nature, including that creates mechanisms in this style of, a tool that does measure when the moon is going to be in certain places and spaces. And that's also reflected in what looks almost like a mirror type of or a sphere that this moon arc itself is holding. It's a beautiful card, don't you think? So it's bringing in that is the shadows forward and into the light, so that throughout your day you might see things that you sort of thought, oh, I'd forgotten about that, and things that you might have rise up when you're talking to someone that brings those old feelings and emotions to the front, so that you can actually deal with them as well. Doing almost like we call in the spiritual world the shadow work. So bring that forward, allow it to shine its light, the moon to shine its light on it in its gentle, nurturing way, as in the feminine, that will touch it gently in a almost like a motherly sense. So that's the feeling of what's going to be overarching our day-to-day as the moon creates its arcs of the whatever stage it's in at the moment. I think it is in one of those partials, of course. We had a new moon. I really should keep a bit better eye on when the moons are cycling through the new and the full moon, etc. It does have influence over us. So if that's the area that you like to keep some focus so that you have a gauge using that tool, it's wonderful to have that available for us. And good morning, Caitlin. Lovely to see you here in the, oh, you must be in one of the Facebook pages. I've got that on the eCam. See the different shape that shows up? It's that nice rounded one. That's how I know that it's on the eCam side of where its destination is. It's lovely to have you commenting. Thank you. And I don't know if I even put I suppose I did. It doesn't matter. I'll do it later. There's been too many glitches in this morning as it is. The fox in the home space. It's bringing home that phrase, bringing home the bacon. The fox is there trying to get food for its family, I suppose, or itself, trying to work out how it's going to succeed because it hasn't first time in the home space. I think it is really more about determination, even though, historically the fox card is a negative card. Those of you who have followed me for a few years now will know that I don't see negative positive as being that. It is how it is. And as far as this situation in our home space of having a fox near the coop, we need to be vigilant of that is the sneakies around and about us, but also that this fox in its own way is just trying to do what it needs to feed itself, to live a life, as the rooster is to look after its coop, as the chooks are in the coop, in the farmyard and all the rest of it. Right over there in the distance, you might even be able to see that could be the farmer collecting some eggs. I haven't actually taken much notice of that card. I just saw it there in the background. That's what it's looking like to me at the moment. As I looked closer and, had a quick flick and looked closer, it's not. It's the fence post. It's the top. Everything that we move through in our life, and especially in our home space, we've become so familiar with it that it has that automatic, almost on autopilot, that we do things, we see things as we are accustomed to. We don't always see that is a different perspective. And this is what I'm feeling with today's card, is that it's showing us that we need to be looking at something in a different perspective around our home space. Work it out, what it is that we're sensing from it. Not just assume that because it's how it's always been seen by our eyes, ears, and heard by our ears and smelt by our nose, that it is what it usually is. Just have a closer, slightly different perspective of looking at it, so that you might see something that you hadn't even thought of before, and come to whatever conclusion you need to keep moving through your day. And I do see it as making ourselves stronger as we go. And Caitlin's saying, makes sense, don't you, Roz? You love being here too and seeing me in the morning. Oh, thank you. I'm pleased that I've been able to get to here this morning, because one false start, nothing sort of went through on one of the channels. That's the vagaries of technology and using two different methods that I connect into different live streaming systems. So sometimes they marry, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they work out and we get to our destination and goal. Sometimes it doesn't. We're being shown a different way in that way. And exactly, you bloody need some strength. Yes, at times it does mean that. And here we have it with moving across to the rider. So once we've actually taken note of what senses we're needing to be using, what particular parts of our tools of who we are, the brains, all of the senses, we can move across into what we're doing for our work today. And riding that rainbow, setting free this horse that's been caught on a carousel, it's got a message to send. It wants us to receive a message. This is what the rider is about. It's the number one card. It starts our journey. Open your eyes, use all your senses again for that might be the sign, the symbols, or even absolute direct message that you're going to get via a letter or a memo or email or whatever it's going to be, even someone speaking to you, even, if you're sitting and having a coffee with a friend and you overhear something that just you hear it from a distant conversation, or music that starts that reminds you of some memory in particular. It's all of that ways, or one or other. It doesn't have to be all of them, of course, but it's so many different ways that we can gain our messages from spirit. It's not just contained in a little bag on a piece of paper, okay? Open your whole sense of self and connect with spirit to receive today in your workspace. Take what might even be out of the box, something that you wouldn't even think was associated from your usual work flow, space, whatever you're doing, and see if that is what the message is for you. There's just so much possibility with this rainbow in our workspace today, and starting something new. It could start something new for you. So open up, be receptive, and join in with your spirit guides as they guide you to what is the best options and possibilities for today in your work. So we do have varied options here. We can sense from our own, animal instincts, I suppose we'd have to call it. Trust your gut. Go with your own intuition in what you're doing today, because we're certainly being guided with that beautiful moonlight energy, that is the more feminine. Oh, excuse me, now I've got hiccups. So trust that inner self. And that's wonderful. So yes, you're agreeing, because JC came to visit straight away with a blackbird again. Just before coming here. That is wonderful. It really is that whoops, don't know how I did that. Whoops. It'll go away again in a minute, in a second. I must have clicked it. I'll let it do its own thing. There. Sometimes it just really is, we can experience the frazzle of life and trying to make decisions and have things run smoothly. Well, don't panic. Just take some deep breaths like I had to this morning. And if it does come up that there's some things you can't quite recognize, just sit within yourself. Don't panic. Just take some breaths and focus on your spirit guides. Ask them to help you through it. Well, that was the reading for today, eventually. So thank you for joining me. And even those who may be watching on Instagram, which I can't see any at the moment because I've mucked something up there too. Look, it works out in the end as it's meant to. So thank you so much for joining me. Certainly share around that I do these in the morning for those who are needing some form of guidance. It might be a great way for you to start your day. And there we go. A good piece of advice from you, Caitlin. Breathe in the good and block out the bad. Exactly. Put the mirror up for the bad and it bounces back to itself. And we are looking at that as in, we do have judgments. We're human. We have judgments of good and bad, positive, negative, and all of that we've been trained very well in our lives to expect. Create something new for yourself, like the messenger with the rider is coming to us today. Look, it might be in our workspace, but I consider my play is work. It's not work, it's play. So have fun with it. Thank you. Keep being the best you that you can be. And namaste until tomorrow. Bye.